I swear to God, I cannot remember this film.
The Witch.
The Witch.
Okay, so here, this will help you remember
Okay,
The Witch.
please.
A family in 1630s New England is torn apart by forces of witchcraft, black magic, and possession. My teleprompter's way over here for some reason.
Yeah, okay. Forces of evil. The forces of evil.
Robert Eggers directed this.
And Robert Eggers is what else has he done?
Just kidding. He's actually hasn't done a lot.
Yeah,
in fact, he's fairly new. He's mostly television, and this is the first feature film. That's what I notated on him. This is his first feature film. He's done mostly shorts and TV.
Okay.
So, I actually...
Here's the thing. You're going to say that you enjoyed it, right? And I'm going to say that this reminded me of Flying. Pure.
Is Flying a movie or actually flying?
No, actually Flying.
Okay.
Periods of...
LSD trips
of sheer terror, interspersed by long periods of boredom, interspersed by moments of sheer terror.
It's kind of like doing a podcast with you. So, I mean, how deep do you want to go with this? Because I watched the entire thing in its regular speed, and
now wait a minute, I did too. And you know what? I lied. I'm completely lying. Of course I didn't. Of course I didn't. Because, this is the kind of film that if I watched it at its normal speed, I wouldn't be here because I would have killed myself.
Oh. Well, let me just get this out of the way. I thought the atmosphere of the film was great. It reminded me a little bit of that Jordan Downey movie, the one with the guy in the cabin and stuff. It was kind of slow, and once you got into the pace, I thought the sound was great. The acting was amazing. It was really slow, but it kind of helped with the feeling of helplessness. It's like, I'm sure you felt that. Like, I can't get through this.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, more like, okay, this is actually making me feel depressed and sad because the situation that they're facing. And I thought it was like The Shining. It kind of felt like that a little bit, like kind of unsettling.
Everything was going down and down and down.
Feeling of dread, kind of, There's absolutely no humor in this. What I did like about this though, religious paranoia. It was like that's basically all in your face about but it was like it wasn't really. In fact, I don't even know if this really happened. She might have just been hallucinating all this. Like, oh, I'm just freaked out because I'm religious.
That's the whole point of it. It doesn't have to be anything. But
I didn't like the father's voice though.
She was beautiful though.
His voice was too deep. The father.
Go outside and chop some wood.
Well, I didn't like him, but just his voice. He was a good actor. No, but yeah, she was beautiful, and there are naked people in this, and naked babies, which is great.
I don't mean that. I mean she was very watchable, and she just had an incredibly cute face, and as the film went on, I kept thinking to myself, she stays amazingly clean through all this, and everybody else is constantly.
Yes. Yep. So, what was I gonna say? Oh, couple things like just if you're thinking about moving, maybe check the neighborhood you're moving into.
Well,
and if your baby starts taking things and acting weird, just get the hell out of the neighborhood. If the second kid dies, maybe it's time to move.
There is something that I did want to point out, is that there's a kind of a myth that we've had a period of filmmaking here that we've tried to get hyper real, and our feeling for hyper real is that everything from that period was really dirty and funky all the time.
Right. Yeah.
And here's the thing. I don't believe that. I don't believe that things weren't colorful at all. I mean, for instance, this was a film that worked totally to desaturate everything that you're looking at, so that it all looks like it's based in black and white, and in the blues, and just the
but the blood really shows up in that.
Right, but at the same time,
Hi, I'm Kurt Thomas. I'm with the Dream Warrior Review podcast, and I'm interrupting our podcast to tell you that we have a new sponsor, Brown Space Films. One of my favorite companies is sponsoring our podcast. I mean, how lucky can we be? They have movies like Mythos, Torment, Measure, to name a couple. Oh, and of course, I can't forget my favorite, Friday the 13th, Vengeance. I mean, that was a great film. I mean, the set decoration, it was just beautiful. And you can't forget Dustin Montiers. He's so handy with the camera, and he makes everything look so pretty.
They have a new film they're working on, a Star Trek film, Warrior's Death.
So check it out.
Please check out their website, brownspacefilms.com, and of course you can check them out on Facebook at Brown Space Films. Why not do that after this? Because you're going to listen to the rest of our podcast, right?
You better. Thank you.
I just can't believe that things look like that. It's gotten to the point, and I think that this is a perfect example of it. It's gone so far that, this looking back and everything is completely washed out. I think that we have to stop and make things kind of look a little bit like they actually would have looked occasionally. Because let me tell you something. And this is particularly from my living in Tennessee now, right? You have to think that area would have been like Tennessee, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's north of here, maybe.
Yep.
But my God, the greenery and the flowers and the look of stuff here, because we're living in an area that looks now like that area would have looked, right? And I just don't buy it. I just don't buy that, a nearly black and white world where, if it showed any color, you sloshed a bunch of dirt on it. That doesn't seem to be daring at all. I mean, how there was a scene in a film called The Unforgiven.
Right, yeah.
Right? And they had a town in it. And the town was a breath of fresh air, because you could tell that part of the town was just built, because it would have been just built, because it would have been new, right? It was just built, and the lumber was fresh, and you could feel the square nails. You could feel that there was color in some spots of that town, right? Mm-hmm. So I have kind of simple questions here like this, is that you had poles out there that had fences, and the top of it looked gray and dirty and grungy, and that isn't what that would have looked like, because it would have been out there for a very short period of time, and they would have been white. And I don't want to get obsessed with this. I'm just saying that our color palettes are getting a little bit too squashed for that period, and we have to back off of that and just maybe once in a while kind of look at things like they would have looked back then.
Yeah, but this wasn't a period historical piece. It was a horror film, and you're supposed to feel the feeling of dread, and if it's all happy and bright and flowers are pretty, you're not going to feel that way. Like Annabelle. We were watching Annabelle, and I can't remember what other movies. I think it was even like that, where I felt like it was too bright and colorful, and it didn't really bring me to the
work
horror.
Around it. You know what? Spielberg worked with Southern California Tracks. Southern California Tracks in the 70s, man. You know what? And he enjoyed it. He said, bring me more of this.
But see, Steven Spielberg's a storyteller. And I don't know if he could do a horror movie. I mean, he does sci-fi, but I don't think you can do a horror movie. And you gotta, if you want the feeling of dread, have dirty people doing weird stuff in a dark cabin in the woods with dead flowers everywhere. Ah!
I am in the middle of the Trump years, and I do not need any more feeling of dread.
What did you think of the production design as a whole? The reason why I'm asking is because
I hated it.
This director, actually, his background is mostly production designer.
Honest to God, I hated it.
Really?
Absolutely.
I don't really remember anything about it, honestly.
Well, I'm just this is my thing. I mean,
it's not like I don't remember anything that stands out.
Although, what was the other film that, we saw a bunch of butts staying around at the very last scene? What is this thing with seeing a bunch of people, naked people in the last scene?
Well, that was Hereditary, I think.
Hereditary, right?
That was so bizarre.
But
that was one of those movies you're going down the roller coaster, then it just all of a sudden takes a left turn and stops, and you're like,
right, exactly. If you can't tell if it was a turn or a wreck and you can't tell the difference, I think that you've made a mistake. But that's just me.
And they're all chanting, yes, yeah.
Yeah, well,
I don't know. I actually like the scene where, like, I'm gonna spoil it. One of the girls who's in the movie had done a bunch of things to a lot of people, and there's blood everywhere. That was a really nice scene, how they shot that.
Yeah, okay.
But I thought the whole movie was pretty good. I don't think it was amazing, but I give it a slightly above average rating, like 3. I didn't love it, but I think it was a 3. The acting was what kind of made it.
You know what? I'm in this kind of a mood. I'm going to give it a 0.6.
Oh my God. What about the actors? What about those people?
What about the guy with the deep voice?
What about those 4 people? Listen, the only reason it got a 0.6 was because she has an amazing face.
Yeah, okay. But yeah.
That's it.
I don't know. Well, think about that. Jeremy Brown, think about that next time you cast a film. If you have a guy with a really deep voice, it might distract people. Anyway. I don't know why I was saying that. But
the thing is if I will know, at least if I go out into a field and there's a ring of naked people, that it's the end of the film.
Yeah. Well, in real life, how would you handle that situation? In a movie.
Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on. Cut!
I don't know.
No, I'm serious. I would know I was in a movie. I'd be just, hey, cut. Okay.
You look for the director to apologize for interrupting.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I'm going back that way.
I would just turn around and walk away.
Yeah, exactly. See, there's the answer. Turn and walk
But
away.
horror films are all about people doing stupid things that don't make any sense.
Right.
Doesn't even have to make sense.
Which, if you think about Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4, or just 4, I guess it's just 4. The dog is the only thing. The only smart creature in the whole movie was the dog, because he looked there. Well, fuck, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Because for another thing is he was out looking for some balm to put on his balls.
Well, who doesn't?
Yeah, well,
that happens to everybody.
His had just been burning, so you never know.
I think this one's kind of going downhill.
Is this
we took a left turn.
We did. I'm done.
Yeah. Thank gosh.